Hey folks, this is the HS900, a new sub 250 gram drone from Holystone. Really important that it does come under that limit because it means you'll be able to fly this with the fewest restrictions. Now, Holystone did send this out to me in exchange for this video, but I am looking forward to taking it up for a first test flight today. Thought I'd bring you along for the ride. And Holystone are boasting that this is using their new advanced GPS, which I have tested with the HS720R and the 360S, and it does work really well with those drones. So I'm expecting a nice stable flight here with the HS900. The Sony image sensor is capable of recording video at up to 4K resolution as well, so I'm going to be showing you some examples of that in action, and we'll just get a general feeling as to how this thing actually flies. Now, it is a little bit breezy out here today despite the warm weather, but that's actually really good because it will allow us to test how this handles in the wind. It is rated at level 5 wind resistance, and then we'll finish off with a return to home test as well to make sure that these safety features are also working as expected. So let's go ahead, guys, get things set up for my very first flight with the HS900. So I've got the drone unfolded. I'll take the gimbal protector off. Here is the controller as well, and my phone will fit nicely in the bottom here. Pop the joysticks on. We'll take off the gimbal protector. We can see that lovely 3-axis gimbal there, all roaring to go. And I do have the battery installed, which is supposed to give up to 30 minutes of flight time. I'm expecting about 22 to 25 minutes in the real world. And I have my SD card installed as well. And to confirm, the app you want to use with your phone is the HS Sirius app. Now, since this is my first time turning the drone on, it is asking me to download the latest firmware. So this will fix a number of issues that may have cropped up since manufacture. So I've gone ahead and done this. Right, so I've turned everything on. I've got the drone activated to my account that I set up, free account. And all I'm going to do now is just quickly go over the settings. I've got to say the app is absolutely beautiful to use. Very intuitive. So if you can hear the wind, like I say, it's going to be a good test for the drone. I've set my max distance and max altitude, and I've also set my auto return to home altitude to 50 meters, since that should be enough to lift the drone above any of the obstacles and trees. I could probably set it a bit lower, but 50 will do for now. And I can go ahead and calibrate the compass if I wish, and calibrating is really easy. I don't know if I need to do this right now. I never had a notification to do so. I'm just going to turn the drone vertically 3 times. Yep, and then we turn it horizontally and repeat the process. And I can go ahead also and calibrate the gyroscope, and I just make sure the drone is on a flat level surface there for the auto calibration. And the gimbal doesn't need calibrating right now, so that's absolutely fine. I can see I have a strong connection, and we are currently connected to 19 satellites. So all the pre-flight checks are done. Let's not squander the moment any longer. It's actually starting to get a little bit grey, so I do want to get the drone up into the air now. And what I can do is either tap the takeoff button on the actual app, that will get the drone straight up, or I can just move the joysticks into the bottom center and that will start the props, and then I can take the drone off when I'm ready. Okay, and I am just going to change the camera settings over to video so we can capture some of that 4K footage as well. Let's get the drone into the air. Whoa, so straight away I'll just move that back to keep it in shot. I'm not pushing anything on the controller here. It is keeping its position very well all on its own there. Absolutely stable in flight. And that is because of that advanced GPS technology that Holystone have included. So let's gain some altitude and some distance. See what the HS900 is going to be capable of. Right, I can also drop the gimbal down a touch there as well. And we may as well start recording too. So it is set to, yeah, it is set to 4K video. So guys, have a look at that lovely footage that you can see right now and I can't. But how awesome is that? I know how awesome it is because it's using a Sony image sensor with pretty good technology in here for the camera. So let's just gain a little bit more altitude. Make sure we are safely above the trees. Now, Holystone have rated the HS900 for maximum transmission of 20,000 feet, or just about 6 kilometers. Now, that is going to depend on where you are flying because different countries do have different regulations. But as far as the drone's concerned, they have gone all out here. Now, right now, I'll just show you the settings. I've got this set to stable speed, But of course I could increase that if I wish to normal. Or to sports mode if I want that additional speed. That is really just low, medium and high for speed setting. That's stable, normal and sport. And as you can see, I have my max distance and max altitude set to the levels I want, and the auto return to home at 50 meters. I will be engaging manual return to home in a little while as well, so we can really put that through its paces and see how it works. But let's gain a little bit more distance first of all. And I've got to say, this is flying like a dream. Possibly, in fact, almost definitely from this first impressions, I would say this is the smoothest Holystone flight that I have ever experienced. I'm now at 400 meters distance. I'm not going to push it any more than that because I'm really pushing the extremities of line of sight there. But yeah, it's still got a strong connection. I've got 27 satellites connected and lots of nice green bars as well, which is always great to see. And this is just flying wonderfully. I have lost a little bit of signal connection as I've turned the drone back around, and the reason for that is the positioning of the antennas. So just bear that in mind, but again, if you do lose complete connection, you are going to be having that auto return to home to bring the drone back to you anyway, so you don't need to worry too much about that. But yeah, I think this 4K footage is absolutely delicious. What do you guys think? Remember, this is a Holystone drone with a fantastic camera, along with great flight stability. I think they've come on so much over the last couple of years. I really do. I'm so impressed with this initial impression of the HS900. It's flying wonderfully and it's so responsive as well. Even little things like being able to connect my phone to the controller with an included USB-C cable, so I don't have the latency that a screen view over wireless provides that you get with some other Holystone drones. Yeah, little touches like that are going a long way to making this a definite premium model drone. And of course, the sub 250 gram limit, meaning that you can fly with those fewer restrictions. For example, in the US, you don't need to register this drone, as far as I'm aware, in most states, though you will need to check your own aviation laws in your region. But after flying for 7 minutes, we are currently down to 76% battery. Remember, I did go through some setup procedures as well for the first time flight, so that's not too bad at all either. I'm going to go now and push the drone to about 250 meters and we can engage the return to home. So I'll stop the recording there as well for the 4K video. And let's tap the home button there. Do not tap land because you don't want to be chasing after your drone. Let's go ahead and select the return to home. Now we will get a bleeping there for the return to home functionality. And I'll just pop that down for a moment as we just wait for the drone to make its way back to us completely automatically. Obviously, I've engaged this mechanism manually, but it will do it itself as well if you lose complete connection between the drone and the controller. And I can see that here she comes at the predetermined flight altitude of 50 meters that I set in the app before the flight. So that was more than sufficient. And it's come back at a bit of a nifty speed. This is one of the fastest drones I've seen actually from Holystone. The drone has just moved into position above the takeoff spot and is now going to be reducing its altitude. Again, I'm not pushing anything on the controls here. This is completely automated at the moment with this return to home function. Now, if I cancel the return to home, I'll just slide that across there and it will drop it back into manual flight mode. I don't have to, it would have landed, but because I'm on this narrow table here rather than landing in the field, I didn't want it to hit the edge. Although I've got to say that GPS lock was pretty accurate. If I bring that right back down, you can see how close that was to the takeoff point, probably about 1.5 feet away. So that is really, really accurate. But let's go ahead now and bring this back down for a landing. Very easy to land. There we go. That was actually a fantastic first flight. And I've got to say, better than I expected as well. Now, Holystone have improved so much over the last couple of years, as I've mentioned, but this takes the cake. The flight was stable. Hopefully the footage that I captured can show you what this camera is actually capable of. Some really stable footage as well with that 3-axis gimbal in play. Yeah, so if you couldn't tell, my first impressions of the HS900 are definitely positive. Now, there are a number of features we haven't looked at today, including the fact that this does have a tracking mode as well, so you can have it follow you around if you wish to. I'll bring more information and show that in action in my more in-depth review. But so far from what I've seen, I'm really impressed with this little thing. The HS900, a sub 250 gram model from Holystone, is definitely shaping up, I think, to be a fantastic little aircraft that's going to be really helpful, not only for beginners that are new to the hobby and want to really have something that they're going to be confident in flying, because I was really confident with flying this drone, even on my first flight here. But it's also going to be great for those of you that need to fly for more commercial reasons. If you need to capture various shots, this gives you a stable flight, a stable image, and a great looking quality video as well. So folks, that is my first impressions and first flight of the HS900 drone here from Holystone. Thank you so much for checking out the video, and I think I'm going to get the battery charged, take it up for another flight. See you next time.